Namaste, dear students, scholars, friends. Today we are going to explore a profound and fascinating subject: how India's tribal communities views trees not just as a plants but as a teachers, ancestors, and healers and moral guides. This understanding is not only ecological but deeply philosophical. It shows us that the roots of Indian spirituality, including Vedic and Upanishadic ideas, grow from much earlier soil. The worldview of ancient forest dwelling tribal communities. In this context, the word is tribes used in referring the pre-agrarian societies. The lecture will help you to understand how pre-agrarian or tribal societies look at specific trees as sacred teachers, how this connects to Upanishadic ideas like the cosmic trees, that is Aśvattha, why protecting these trees is not just environmental work but protection of knowledge systems, how different tribes across India have unique trees-based wisdom traditions. Let us begin by understanding the background. Pre-agrarian societies cosmology or tribal cosmology, a world where trees speak. In tribal cosmology, nature is not a resource but a living teacher. For example, a river is a mother, a mountain is an ancestor, a forest is a classroom, a tree is a guru. The tribal worldview says nature teaches, humans must listen. This is very different from the modern worldview where humans dominate nature. In tribals thought, humans are younger siblings of trees and animals. Now let us examine why trees are teachers. Every Indian tribal community believes trees possess chetana, that is consciousness. A Baiga always tells that a tree breathes slow, that is why it knows more. The statement that trees possess chetana, that is consciousness, reflects a widespread of animistic worldview found among many Indian tribal communities, including the Baiga of central India. Ethnographic accounts, especially those recorded by warrior Elvin in the Baiga, describes how the Baiga regard forests not as a resources but as a living communities. Certain trees are treated as ancestors, clan protectors, or dwelling places of spirits. Cutting a tree without ritual permission is considered a moral violation because trees are believed to feel, respond, and sustain life. This statement reflects from Vedic perspective. Sloka from Rig Veda mentions like this: Yavaushadaha purvajata devabhasre yugam pura manushyebhyaha pasubhachya namo astutebhyaha. This hymn, known as the Aushadha Sukta, recognizes plants and herbs as ancient, life-sustaining beings. They are not treated as inert matter but as benefactors existing even before the gods, symbolizing their primordial importance in sustaining life. The mantra acknowledges their healing's power of both human and animals, reflecting an ecological and ethical worldview. Now let us examine why trees becomes teachers in tribal societies. Tribal communities treat trees as teachers because trees live much longer than humans. Some trees live for 200 to 500 years. Tribals believes they store memory. Trees gives without asking. They give fruit, shade, medicine, water retention, oxygen, all without expecting anything. Trees stand still and observe. A tree is a silent witness to human behavior. Tribals see this as a moral authority. Trees connect earth and sky. Roots, earth; branches, sky. This is seen as a spiritual connection. Trees heal the body and mind. Nearly every tribal medicinal system is tree based. Thus, the tribal philosophy, a tree is not an object, it is a wise elder. Now, let us examine the Upanishadic cosmic tree and the tribal philosophy. The Upanishad describes this cosmic tree, that is Aśvattha or a people tree, as the symbol of universe. From Katha Upanishad, one of the sloka mentions like this: Utvamulo Vachaka Eshastataha Sanatanaha Tadeva Sukram Darbha Brahma Tadevamrutam Muchyate Tasmin Lokaha Sritaha Sarvatadanu Natveti Kachana Etadvat. The mantra presents a profound cosmological symbol. The inverted Aśvattha, that is a sacred fig tree, its roots above signify Brahman, the transcendent ultimate reality, while its branches below represent the manifest universe. The image suggests that the visible world draws nourishment from an unseen spiritual source. Anthropologically and philosophically, the tree symbolizes interconnectedness, continuity, and life emerging from a sacred origin. Just as many tribal traditions regard trees as bridge between earth and sky, the Upanishadic seeds use the tree as a metaphysical model of existence itself. This vision did not appear suddenly. It reflects the ancient tribal cosmology where the forest is divine, trees carry the breath of gods, roots connect ancestors, branches connect the heavens. Anthropologist Verrier Elvin, who spent decades living among the India's tribal communities, often observed that tribal cosmology was not primitive superstition but a deeply reflective world view rooted in lived experience. When he describes tribal cosmology as a living Upanishad in the forest, he meant that philosophical spirit of the Upanishad was already present in the daily life of indigenous societies. These ideas did not emerge suddenly, they reflect ancient tribal beliefs where trees were already understood as conscious, teachers like, sacred, moral guides. Thus, tribal cosmology is a foundation upon which Vedic and Upanishadic thought later built more complex metaphysics. Scholars and students, based on my experience working among the 75 primitive tribes of India, here is an accurate, ethnographically grounded list of tribes and the specific sacred trees they revere as teachers, ancestors, or living elders. Now let us look into each tribe. Dongriya Kanda of Orissa, Siali tree, symbol of fertility and women's creative power. Sal, embodiment of village, ancestors, and forest guardians. Mahua, provider of food, oil, and ritual offerings. Beliefs is trees are Jivanta Devata, that is living deities that store ancestral knowledge and guide moral behavior. Baiga of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, the sacred trees are Mahua, life giver, ritual, mother, healer. Saja, tree of judgment and moral clarity. Tendu, protector of children and clan health. They believe, Baiga shamans say, trees speak through dreams, offering medicinal and ethical guidance. Gond of central India, the sacred trees are Kusum, seat of clan spirit. Palash, tree of fire, purity, and transformation. Mango, tree of memory and genealogical continuity. Belief is that creation myths describe their first ancestors emerging from a sacred cosmic tree. Santal of Jharkhand, Odisha, and Bengal. The sacred trees are Sal, divine judge and ancestral shrine. Karam, celebrated during the Karam festival for prosperity. They believe that young people learn community ethics during Karam rituals held under the sacred Karam tree. Kashi and Garo of Meghalaya. Kashi sacred tree, deodar like oak, linked to ancestral souls. Garo sacred trees are Aphanomyxis polyestra, sacred grove tree that stores stories of the dead. They believe that sacred groves are considered schools of ecological wisdom. Todas of Nilgiris, Shola forest trees like rhododendron and myco species are sacred marriage trees. They believe trees around sacred dairy temples hold the spirits that guide buffalo herding tribes. The Irula of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, they worship neem tree, that is protective elders. Tamarind tree, ancestors tree. They believe trees are consulted before hunting or honey collection. They watch over the community. The Chenchus of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, banyan tree, dwelling of forest spirits. Pipal tree, ritual mediator during full moon ceremonies. These tribes believe elders teach children that trees are our eldest teachers before humans learn this speech. Now let us look into the aspects of what do these trees teaches us a comparative understanding. Across India's tribes, trees teach the same universal principles. They are patience, sal and banyan, a tree stands without complaint. Generosity, mahua and tamarind, they give fruits, oil, wood and shade. Honesty, siali, jamun, tribal teachers use these trees to teach moral truth. Community living, kashi, ficus, bridges, roots interlock like families. Strength in adversity, that is palasa, people. Trees bloom even in harsh seasons. Healing, that is neem, beheda, hartike. Trees becomes medicinal teachers. These are not only ecological value, they are ethical and spiritual lessons. Let us look into the aspects of how tribal knowledge influenced later Hindu thought. The Upanishads describes the cosmic tree, the trees as the holders of prana, trees as a being that drink light, plants as a silent sages. This reflects a tribal cosmology. Example, in Katha Upanishad, Yama tells Nachiketa about a tree whose roots grow upward, the cosmic connection between the earthly and the divine. Tribal's thought also says the roots talk to the sky and the sky replies through rain. This continuity shows the tribal wisdom from the structure of Indian philosophy. Let's look into the aspect of ecological science hidden in tribal tree traditions. Modern science confirms that trees communicate through fungal networks. Trees warn each other of danger. Trees store carbon. Forests regulate water cycles. Tribal communities knew this intuitively. For example, God knows Mahawati regulates soil moisture. Baiga know Sal forests protect groundwater. Kashi tribes know roots bridges last 500 to 700 years. Thus, tribal knowledge is not primitive, it is ecological engineering. Now, let us look into the aspect of why modern India must learn from tribal tree teachers. Tribal wisdom is urgently needed today because we face a climatic crisis. Forests are being destroyed, water cycles are collapsing, youths are disconnected from nature. Tribal philosophy reminds us human survival depends on respecting trees as teachers. Now let us briefly discuss about major tribes and their sacred trees. Dongriya Kand, Sala tree. Baiga, Sal. Gond, Mahua. Kashi, Ficus elastica. Niyashi, Himalayan cherry. Bil, Neem. Varli, Palas. Kurumba, Jamon. Katunayakan, Ficus. Toda, Shola trees. Finally, let us look into the aspects of what trees teach. Trees teaches us patience, honest, generosity, community living, healing, and ecological balance. Before concluding, let us examine some important anthropologists and related scholars who have written significantly on trees, forests, and their cultural meaning. Anthropologists and historians whom I have chosen is Ramachandra Guha. Though a historian, his anthropological engagement with forest communities highlights the cultural and ethical significance of trees. L.P. Vidyarthi documented sacred landscape among tribal communities of Bihar and central India, emphasized the concept of the sacred complex, and showed how sacred groves function as a ritual, ecological, and social centers. Professor D.N. Mazumdar, in his tribal studies among Ho and other central Indian tribes, he described sacred groves as spaces where clan deities reside and community rituals are performed. Professor Ariel Elwin, though British born, he became deeply integrated into Indian anthropology. He wrote extensively on sacred groves among the Baiga, Gond, and other tribes, describing them as living temples of ecological spirituality. Dr. K.S. Singh, as Director of Anthropological Survey of India, he documented sacred groves across various tribal regions in the People of India project, highlighting their cultural and ecological importance. Finally, Madhav Gadgil, although an ecologist, his collaborative anthropological work on Western Ghats sacred groves shows how traditional communities preserve biodiversity through ritual protection. Hope you have enjoyed this piece of discussion. Hindu sacred trees or tribal teachers emerged as teachers from tribal thought. I request you, please forward this link to your friends, students, scholars, and teachers. Please subscribe this channel to know more about Hindu culture and civilization. Thank you. Hope we will meet you in another discussion.